Hey, what's up everyone? This is Capsule here. This week I'll be by myself. Everyone else is busy. So there probably won't be a grid today section, but we'll talk a little bit more about strategy. And there is a little bit of updates for development, but I really don't know too much. We're gonna have to wait for next week to talk a bit more about development. So let's just go right into the strategy part. Since it's just me by myself today, we'll just go ahead and go into free battle. And I am using the C.A.R.D Revo version of episode 3 plus. Alright, so I made this deck last week, and I was doing a little play testing with it with DMOC. We'll go into a little bit more about how to use some of the cards that are in it, because I think it's a pretty interesting deck, and also talk about some card balance changes that we have planned for the future. So basically what this kind of deck is, it's a legacy deck for bringing out monsters that are level 7, or items I should say, level 7. If you're not familiar with C.A.R.D Legacy, basically when you play it on the field on yourself, it'll take all of your set items that you have and discard them to the discard pile that are on the field. So it'll take them all away, and it'll give you half of the points that they're worth back to your dice bonus or to your attack. You basically want to, when you set it, you want to have as many points out as possible, the maximum being 8, so that way when you play Legacy, you get 4 points back. The Legacy costs 2, so you're just basically adding 2 more points onto what you already had. Really good deck that I find is for playing against the computer is Double Edge for Silver. It's a hunter deck. Pretty good deck for Silver if you're trying to play test any decks that you make. She brings out shields and stuff, as you can see when we play. Alright, so I rolled a 1. Computer's gonna go first. And right off the bat, I got a lot of good cards that I need to bring out Epsilon, which is the theme of this deck. Epsilon, in my opinion, is the best card in the game. And we'll go into why I think that. I would not like to change my hand because I have like all the monsters I need to bring out Epsilon. Computer rolls a 1-1. That's only fair since I rolled a 1. I'm just kidding. That's unfortunate. Computer just stays there. Alright, so the reason why I have Sinnoh Blues in this deck is because when they get killed, you get an effect called Inherit, and when this card is destroyed, it gains XP equal to the max HP of the card, which is 8. So you'll get 8 experience points that go toward your dice bonus. That's almost a full dice bonus right there. I'm just gonna throw them out. The other card I have in here for helping Epsilon come out is the Pueli Slime, or aka Red Slimes. The reason why I have them in here for bringing out level 7 cost creatures is because when you bring one slime out, or have one slime out on the field, if you have another one in your hand, it comes out for free. So they're easy to pull out, so you can hurry up and get Epsilon out there when you Legacy. So you can see in my first hand I had a Pueli Slime and 3 Sinnoh Blues with Epsilon. That's actually a really amazing hand. Why can't I ever get this hand when I'm playing in a real match? But for now, since I probably don't need the Pueli Slime, since I don't have one in my hand and I have 3 in a deck, I'm just gonna get rid of another Sinnoh Blue. I'm trying to hurry up and get that Legacy out. And there it is. Really good draw. I even got my other Epsilon, which I don't really need at the moment, but it's good to have it in your hand. The only problem is you're gonna need some defense cards and such. But hopefully we get to get out Epsilon as soon as possible. Rolled a 3. So right now, in this case, I need to get the other Sinnoh Blue out. And I rolled a 3. So I'm probably just going to stall for a little bit. This is what I would normally do in a match. Move away as possible from Silver. She could potentially attack the Sinnoh Blue, killing it. So I'm just going to move it back 1. Who knows what they got in their hand. I'm just going to keep this hand for now. Actually, I'm going to get rid of 1 Epsilon. Which is actually a bad idea. But I mean, I'm pretty much in need of like defense cards right now. Top deck and divert. It's really easy to manipulate the computer because they're not very intelligent. If you just keep moving left and right, they'll just keep moving left and right too without even trying to move forward. So, as you can see, playing offline is just not very practical. Okay, so I rolled a 6. I'm gonna bring out this Sinnoh Blue right here. No particular reason. If I use Legacy right now, I'll only get 4 points back and I won't be able to bring out Epsilon. So I'm just going to hold off on that until next turn. So at the moment, Silver has 3 weapons. I'm sorry, 2 weapons. Total of 5. I'm just going to stay right here just to not like manipulate the horrible AI. So hopefully she'll move up and play like a real player. This will actually put me in a real life situation. If I ever were playing a real match. So I'm just gonna chill. I really want to test the consistency of the deck. So manipulating the computer's AI is just not really a good thing if I really want to learn how to play this deck or play in general against real life people. I'm gonna keep all my defense cards because those are actually really good defense cards. Avert, because everything that she has on right now is low cost. And then of course a nice dodge. I'm sorry, guard. Guards are always really good to have, especially against physical attacking story characters. Drew another Legacy. I'm actually getting like all the cards that I need very early on, which is a first. I usually don't get this lucky when playing decks of the sort. So she equipped and moved up with a 1 in defense. Usually a real player probably wouldn't have moved up like that. Just because the 1 in defense, they probably would have chilled out for a little bit. I rolled a 5 and that's exactly what I needed to play Legacy and bust out Epsilon. So I'm just going to Legacy myself right now. You can only play this on yourself, by the way. What it's going to do is going to take all the cards that I have on the field and discard them and give me half of the points that they cost to my attack dice. So that's 4. That gives me enough to bring out Epsilon. I'm going to bring him out like right next to me. Before I draw, I just want to say this right now. There's a lot of like card mistranslations and errors, and Epsilon actually has one under his stall effect. On the card it actually says during move phase, movement of all characters of both parties within one block left or right of this card will be set to 2, excluding this card itself. When receiving multiple movement change effects, the effect with the sorry, let's go back. With the highest movement value applies. Okay, that's not true. The movement is actually set to 0 instead of 2. Also, some other effects Epsilon has that make this card, in my opinion, the best card in the game. He has XP bonus. Receive 3 bonus XP when this character destroys an opponent with 1 single attack. So every time he destroys an item or a creature or pretty much anything, even a story character, on top of getting the 3 XP, he'll get an additional 3 XP. He also has interest, so before each turn, you or your team will gain 9 XP as long as this card is alive. That's kind of a little too good. Just for the fact that he doesn't have any drawbacks. He has stall, which is really good, XP bonus, which is extremely good, and interest, which is, in this case, ridiculously good. And on top of that, he hits all around him for multi. And he has 7 TP, even though he cannot tech, 7 AP, and 2 movement. So his base stats alone are really good, combined with his area that he can attack. But then going with all his, that combined with all his abilities, is just extremely crazy. So as you can see, he can hit all around him for 7. And that's just normal attacking. So on top of the 3 XP I got for destroying that saber, I got an additional 3 XP just because he has XP bonus on his card. I got 6 XP instead. Next turn I'll get 9 XP automatically. So you can see, like, this card is like really ridiculously crazy. Especially in a game where dice is everything. He just gets dice thrown at you like no other. So in order for me to get the effective stall, Epsilon is gonna have to be like adjacent to the story character. As the card says, left or right, it's actually in a plus area, so up, down, left, or right. The story character cannot be, or the character cannot be in a diagonal square for the effect to take place.
Set.
So I'm gonna move myself. Oh, actually, I can't move myself. I'm gonna move Epsilon, and then I can move. It even stalls me myself. That's kind of crazy.
Action. Defense.
I actually didn't know that because you know who would actually do that, but
Draw.
yeah, that's kind of important to know.
Change.
So if I'm correct, Silver will not be able to move anymore. She's forced to attack Epsilon.
Defense.
So yeah, as you can see, the text on the card says it's set to 2, but really it's set to 0. That's gonna have to get fixed.
Set.
Look at that, I have already plus 3 dice, and I haven't really, I only broke like 2 items, I think.
Move. Action.
I'm gonna HP attack and penetrate. This should kill Silver.
Defense.
So I attacked directly through all the weapons for the amount of HP that the card had, which was 20. Cheap. You can see how easy it is to get attack dice or just high rolls with Epsilon out on the field. He pretty much gives you 1 dice bonus every turn, and if he destroys anything, he just gets even more dice than you would normally. And the story character or the character is stuck if they're like on that spot that adjacent to Epsilon, so they can't even move. So he's just gonna like run wild on whoever he comes into encounter with. So we were actually talking about this card the other night, and I was playtesting it. The XP you get from interest is 9. Let's bring up the card Epsilon real quick. Talk about this a little bit more. So interest gives you 9 XP every turn. It's kinda, if you have the right cards, easy to bring out Epsilon. That being said, giving him interest of 9 XP per turn is kind of ridiculous. I mean, I'm not even sure why Sonic Team decided to do that. Especially like if you're able to bring out Epsilon in the first place without having a legacy, that means you're already doing like pretty good in terms of dice. If you're rolling 7s and stuff, so being able to get more dice is just kind of crazy. You'll be able to roll like 9s like every time pretty much within a few like turns. It's kind of crazy. So that is going to have to get nerfed for sure when we do a card Revo. The first official card Revo from the development team. So as to what it's going to be, it's definitely not going to be 9. We're potentially thinking about making it either 6 or 3. Rukumin is actually 3 as well. Let's see. Where's Rookman? So Rookman has the same effect. And I believe Chow Plus has the same effect too. So let me bring up Rookman real quick. Just to kind of show. Even though Rookman is a 5 cost, it's pretty fairly easy to bring him out opposed to Epsilon. But his interest only gives 3 XP as long as this card is alive. So matching that wouldn't be a bad idea, just based on the other abilities that Epsilon has. Stall and XP bonus. I mean, he is a 7 cost card, but really though, he does not need 9 XP bonus every turn. That is just ridiculous. So, as we were talking about this other night, we were thinking of potentially balancing out to maybe either 6 with only 1 XP bonus, or leaving the XP bonus at 3 and changing the interest to 3, the same as Rookman. So those are 2 potential changes for the card Revo on Epsilon at the moment. Swapping out the values on XP bonus or interest, or both. So, and then obviously we're gonna have to change the value from 2 on the card description to 0, because that's actually what it is. Or just changing it in the actual code, so that way you can move 2. That's something that we're gonna have to talk a little bit more about. All that combined, like I said earlier, with the ability to hit all around him for 7 AP, and on top of that he has 7 TP, so you can't even TP defense him. That's kind of ridiculous. Like, he is hands down the most unbalanced card in the game. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk about on this episode of Card Revo Weekly. Since there is no development at talk today, you know, I just thought I'd bring something into the mix. But yeah, I hope you like that. We'll go ahead and look at that deck a little bit more, just in case you're unfamiliar with how to bust out any combos and stuff like that with Epsilon, or how to even bring them out. We'll just go into all types. So in this deck, I have 3 slimes, Poily slimes, red slimes, and the reasoning behind that is if I have one out on the field, I can bring another one out for free. Very easy to get 8 points out on the field really fast, as soon as possible, so that way you can legacy and bring out Epsilon as soon as you get that in your hand. The only problem with the red slimes is after they got nerfed in the very first card Revo, is they have less HP now. If I remember correctly, they had like 7 or 9 HP and like 4 AP with 4 TP. But now they're easier to kill because they have less HP. So yeah, you're gonna have to protect them a little bit more. It's kind of like a pros and cons. They're really good to bust out really quick, but at the same time they're really hard to keep alive. So yeah, it's really good to bring them out early in the match, as soon as possible. Later on in the match, it's kind of harder. You want to bring out the Cinnablues, which I'll go and I'll show you over here. So like I said earlier, Cinnablues give you XP equal to the HP that the card has, the original HP when it's destroyed. So that's almost 1 dice bonus when it gets destroyed. That's really good. So you can understand like why I want to put Cinnablues in here. Not only do they cost 4, when you have 2 of them out, you have a total of 8 points. You can get half of that, which is 4 points. But it's to say they do die, at least you get XP equal to the HP, which will be 8. So that's really good. You could just throw them out there, you know, try to bring out Epsilon, but if it dies, at least you'll get a lot of XP, and then, you know, bring out something else. Now, of course, we're running 3 Epsilons. I was actually running 2 originally, but then I found out that the deck was very inconsistent when running 2. I was finding that sometimes like the 2 Epsilons were at the bottom of the deck, or somewhere in the middle, and I was like scrambling to discard cards just to get Epsilon. So running 3 in a deck turned out to be more consistent because I wanted to get Epsilon and Legacy in my hand as soon as possible. And obviously you want to run 3 Sinnoh Blues and 3 the Poorly Slimes as well. You want to get those out as soon as possible too. Let's go check out the deck over here. It's actually a little bit easier. So here we go. 3 Sinnoh Blues, 3 Poorly Slimes, 3 Epsilons, even though they're not in order. As you can see, I edited the deck, that's why Epsilon's at the bottom here, with another Legacy. I have 3 Legacies. There's one at the bottom that I edited in, that's why it's at the very bottom. 1 C.A.R.D. You always need a C.A.R.D. just to make sure that if anybody throws any kind of assist cards on you, you have something to cover it over. I run Beat in this deck because, you know, obviously it has +5 attack power. It only costs 2, and even though that has XP loss on the card, you're gonna get a ton of XP on this deck, so it's not even really that much of a big deal. Penetrate, because once you bring out Epsilon, he just does crazy damage, and you know you could combo this card with other cards as well, like Machine Attack and HP Attack. So as you saw earlier, I comboed HP Attack with Penetrate, and Epsilon had 20 HP, so it swapped the attack to 20 HP, and I attacked directly when comboed with HP Attack. So that was kind of crazy. Epsilon is Machine, so I use Machine Attack. You can combo this with Penetrate, and you can also combo it with HP Attack as well. So that's kind of crazy. That whole combo is actually 9 points. So you get 3 here, 2 here, 4 here. That's 9 points. So if you get 9 points and you're right next to the opponent that's a hunter, you can actually HP Attack, link it with Machine Attack, and then link it with Penetrate, and that will just do ridiculous amount of damage. You're pretty much going to destroy them unless they have something like what's it called, cancel, or just something to stop, you know, pretty much the HP attack from happening. The Machine Attack and the Penetrate's not, you know, so bad, but I mean, still, that's still going to do a lot of damage. But yeah, the card that you're going to want to stop when somebody brings out this deck on you, or it does that combo in general, is the HP Attack, because that's just going to hurt if he still has that HP. Punch, because you gotta have a punch. Doing all the damage that Epsilon does, punching for 7 is not a bad idea if they have a couple weapons on. Virus, because I don't have any low cost cards in this deck, so somebody's running any low costs or all low costs, this card's gonna destroy them and not even hurt me at all. Avert, because I feel this is a staple defense card. Half defense, I run 2 of these in the deck, apparently. It's basically defends physical or technique damage for half of the HP of the card that you're using it on. So obviously Epsilon has 20 HP. This will guard for 10. It's basically like a resist, but only costs 2 points instead of 4. For cards that have a lot of HP. So it's really good. You can't use it on yourself though as a story character, but you can use it on your items or your creatures. Really good card. Machine Guard, because Epsilon is a machine. It protects against physical and techniques completely. So yeah, obvious choice. Treatment, just in case somebody tries to freeze, paralyze, KO Epsilon. You don't want that happening. Aegis Guard, for the same reasons. You don't want anyone instantly killing Epsilon with Megid or any cards that have any sort of insta-kill. Resists, because you're going to be rolling really, really high with this deck. So, yeah. Resist HP plus 10. Blocks plus 10 for physical and techniques. Going to be really easy to bust this card out. You're going to be rolling really high. 2 guards, mainly for the beginning of the game, since you need to build up all that XP and stuff. So, really good, solid choice. I always run at least 1 or 2 in every deck. Good staple cards. At least 1 resist, a good staple card. At least 1 treatment, another good staple card. Yeah, and those are the other legacy and epsilon that I threw in at the last minute because I needed more consistency. So that's what I'm running in my deck. But yeah, since there's nobody else on the show with me today, I'm just gonna keep it short and wrap it up. I hope you guys liked that and enjoyed watching me play test the Epsilon deck. If you have any questions, please like, follow, and subscribe, and comment inside the section below. Follow us at Facebook. You can find our group at PSO Episode 3 Card Battlers. And once again, this is twitch.tv CPSIV. If you're watching on YouTube, this is where we stream live every week. Thursdays, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Yeah, so tune in next week if you're just watching this. And we'll have more content, hopefully more development, and definitely more strategy and online matchmaking. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Capsule here, and I'll see you guys next week.